Hey everyone, good afternoon. This is County Executive Pat Ryan. Thank you for tuning in again for an update briefing on what's happening with COVID-19. And I hope you are having a good day, enjoying another beautiful day weather-wise. I don't want to keep everyone from the gorgeous weather, so we'll make this a rapid update as we head into Memorial Day weekend. In terms of the public health situation, at the high level, things continue to look very good and encouraging. We are absolutely over the peak, on the downward slope, and continuing to head in positive directions from all the data points that we're looking at here. In terms of our first graph on overall positive cases, the news continues to be positive. We have 1,633 cumulative positive cases, but we've now tested just shy of 12,000 people. So our overall rate is now down to 13.7%. If you remember, at the peak of COVID in the county, we were well over 20% of those being tested coming back positive, and every day we're seeing that number tick down, and we're now at 13.7%. Unfortunately, I do have to continue to update that we have fatalities continuing to occur. 71 now fatalities of Ulster County residents. That's 2 more since we last spoke on Tuesday. Again, it's hard every time, and I can't imagine how difficult it is for their loved ones and family. So we send our love to you all and our condolences to you all for those losses. We, in good news, have now had 952 county residents recovered from COVID and on the other side of this. And if we look out 10 days on our projections, at the current rate of growth, you can see, I mean, we're at 1,633 now. In the best case scenario, 10 days out, we'd be at 1,700. So you can really see there that the growth rate is, as long as we all continue to follow the protocols of social distancing and masks and so on, we see that number, a very encouraging, almost flattening of the cumulative curve even. In terms of other metrics, our hospitalizations continue to trend downward, which is obviously good. We now have 9 residents with COVID-19 in our Ulster County hospitals. That's the same as it was 2 days ago, and a clear downward trend if you look at the graph over time from the worst of it back in mid-April, late April. So that is encouraging. In terms of active cases, we talked about this a little bit. Of the total 1,600 plus, only 610 residents of the county currently have active COVID-19 cases. That's 37%. And again, another graph, another view here where you can see that we've gone up, we've hit the apex, and we are on our way down. And we, of course, hope to continue to see that number 610 go down as the number of recovered, which is now 952, continues to go up. But that means that 60% of those who tested positive at any point are now recovered in the county, well more recovered than active. And again, that's a very encouraging data point. Probably the most encouraging new data point to share with you is how our test results are coming back. So this next graph really shows you how many people we're testing each day, and of those being tested each day, how many are positive. So the orange line on the graph shows over time, again, a very clear peak and us on the downward side. But in the last 24 hours, we actually completed more tests than any previous day throughout the whole COVID-19 crisis. We tested 718 individuals, and only 12 out of 700, over 700, were positive for COVID-19. So that is very encouraging in terms of showing that of those being tested day over day, very few are coming back positive, which clearly means that the spread has slowed, and all the things that we've been doing and each of us are still doing are working in terms of slowing that spread. So it's always good to share good news, and that's what I'm getting to do today, which is nice. Final graph in terms of the public health situation, our hospital capacity. As I mentioned, we have 9 residents in hospital beds due to COVID-19, still have 0 in ICU beds and 0 ventilators. So for the 9 members of our community struggling in the hospital, please keep fighting. We're thinking of you. We hope that you join the ranks of those recovered very soon. And to all the healthcare workers caring for them, thank you as well. Our hospitals and all of our healthcare workers, as we say often, but should say every day, have just been absolutely heroic, and they are one of the main reasons why we see these numbers going down. Other updates happening more broadly in the county as it relates to COVID-19. Project Resilience, my favorite part to update you on, continues to go extremely well. We've now delivered over 209,000 meals, prepared meals and grocery meals. That is thanks to our hundreds of volunteers, all of our restaurant partners, and so many of you who contributed a few dollars or more to fund over $2.5 million into our community fund to make sure that no one in the county is wanting for food. And throughout the last weeks, we've also talked about our efforts on the housing front to make sure that no one in the county at this crisis moment should be without a bed to sleep in and a roof over their head. And so we have been stepping up to meet that challenge, and we'll continue to do that as a community. And I just want to thank everyone for that. In terms of more broad reopening of the county, which I know obviously many folks are rightly focused on, we continue to update our COVID-19 dashboard, which is at ulstercountyny.gov. On the dashboard, you can see the 7 metrics that New York State has outlined and where we are as a county, as well as where we are as a region within the Mid-Hudson region, which includes 7 counties. As a county, we are 7 for 7, meaning the work that we've all done has borne those benefits, and we see that in terms of hospital capacity, in terms of the spread of the virus, and our testing capacity, we are as ready as we possibly can be to start the careful and safe and deliberate reopening and moving to phase 1. We are, as a region, which we have to wait and makes sense that we take a regional approach, of course. As a region, we're very, very close to opening. The Mid-Hudson region is now one of 3 in the state that hasn't opened. The others are New York City and Long Island. I don't have a perfect crystal ball, but if the current trends continue, we are on track, I believe, to open as a region next week for phase 1. And we'll talk more about what that looks like in our next session, and we've talked about it before. But phase 1 really, again, is shifting that car into first gear, not 0 to 100, but just that first gear, very carefully doing construction, manufacturing, curbside retail, and agriculture. And within those industries and sectors, following business safety plans that every business and entity has to outline to keep their workers safe and to keep their customers safe and the broader community safe. So I know many are hopeful that we are heading in that direction and close, and we are. And I know many are concerned that as we open, there's greater risk. And to some degree, it's on each of us to make sure that we mitigate that risk, that we do our part. So as I said on Tuesday, as we approach reopening, it will be even more important that everyone continue to wear masks when out and about, to maintain that distance, to wash hands and follow the other protocols to make sure that you're doing your part to keep the spread slow or hopefully non-existent in the area. We will, of course, keep you updated on that reopening and the progress. And at any point, you can go on our ulstercountyny.gov website, click on the COVID tracker, and you can see all these metrics. If you're a data nerd like me, you can go on and see all the things that we've talked about and more to give you that historical perspective, as well as where we are in the moment with all the cases and reopening. And you can always reach out to us with any questions on any of these things. As we wrap up and head out into beautiful weather today and what looks to be pretty nice weather this weekend, I want to remind everyone that even though you're feeling cabin fever, I'm sure, and beyond that at this point, it is absolutely critical, just to reiterate again, that if you are out and about, that you do so safely and responsibly, and that you follow those guidelines. We'll talk a little bit about Memorial Day in a minute, but as it relates to Memorial Day events, Governor Cuomo yesterday announced that small gatherings for Memorial Day of 10 people or less are permitted, but that you have to follow social distancing and continue to wear masks in those settings. So it's a gradual step to make sure we can honor that holiday, but do so safely and responsibly. Heading into the weekend, though, I do want to thank, as always, each of you, all of the frontline workers, doing their thing to keep us safe and to keep us taken care of, from our healthcare workers, grocery store workers, postal workers, teachers, and so many others. On behalf of all the residents of the county, we thank you, and we appreciate what you have done and are doing. I want to specifically thank, and many of you probably know this, but some may not. Actually, this entire week has been EMS week, Emergency Medical Service week. And man, if there was ever a time that this incredible group of heroic medical workers who do this regardless of COVID and have been doing it, but if there's ever a time to thank and appreciate our medical workers who are going out, our emergency responders going out and putting themselves at risk, all those patients that are being transferred to our hospitals by them, all those patients that are being treated, all the calls that they're answering related to COVID, in addition to all the other duties that they do to keep us safe and taken care of, and in many cases to keep us alive. So specifically to our EMS workers out there, our EMTs, first responders, everyone who's driving those ambulances, answering those calls, delivering aid that is keeping people healthy and alive, thank you on behalf of every resident of the county and everyone in the state and the country for your efforts. This is one week where we explicitly thank you, but of course this extends throughout the year, and we really appreciate, especially now, what you are doing for us. Finally, just sort of a programming note, heading into, I know it doesn't feel like a normal Memorial Day weekend, that excitement of a long weekend and the unofficial start to summer, and of course an opportunity to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. But we are heading into Memorial Day weekend, if you've lost track of all days and times, starting this weekend. And as we always do, or have done for the last many years in Ulster County, we will be holding a candlelight vigil tonight, so Thursday night, tonight at 8 p.m. Normally we do this right in front of the Ulster County office building, in front of our memorial to the fallen Ulster County residents, and we usually have a huge turnout, close several blocks, and a real crowd to honor those who have fallen from our community. Unfortunately, for obvious reasons, we have to make this a much smaller event to honor the guidelines of the state and to keep everybody safe, but we want to do this and we need to do this. And so thanks to Radio Kingston, who generously agreed to broadcast, we will still be holding our vigil tonight at 8 p.m. We'll be streaming it live. We will have a small number of participants from our surrounding veteran organizations, and we are going to do our very best to make sure that even in the midst of COVID-19, we take a few moments tonight and throughout the weekend to reflect on the sacrifices made for all the values of our country. I do want to let folks know that in addition to what's happening tonight, we will be doing throughout the weekend on social media. Our team is going to be sharing names and faces and stories of Ulster County residents who have made the ultimate sacrifice and given their lives through all of the conflicts throughout our country's history, going way back to the Revolutionary War, all the way up to modern times. And unfortunately, we have to do this all virtually, but ask you all to be on the lookout for that and share that content and share those stories to make sure that, of course, Memorial Day is an opportunity to celebrate and, to the degree possible, be with family and friends, and be outside and kick off summer, and I encourage that, but to make sure that we also take the time to honor folks as appropriate. Finally, on Monday, and we'll put out more details on this, but on Monday, I believe it's, I don't remember what time it is. I think it's, I'll get the details, but I know Monday there's a plan in the works, late breaking, to have a car parade and motorcycle parade to honor Memorial Day that will start at Tech City in the town of Ulster and make its way ultimately south on Route 32 to our Veterans Memorial Cemetery. That's 1 o'clock. Thanks for the assist to my team. That's 1 o'clock on Monday, and that is a car parade. Obviously, we can't have the normal parade. We'll put out more details on this as well if you're interested in participating in that, but ultimately we'll go from town of Ulster and end at the New Paltz Memorial Cemetery, where we have our Veterans Cemetery as well. And that'll be another chance to participate in Memorial Day activities. But final reminder, if you are around tonight and able, please tune in 8 p.m. for our Memorial Day vigil. We'll also have this up archived as well, but would be great to take a few minutes tonight. I know it's always a very moving and powerful ceremony, and I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you'll join us. On that note, thank you everybody for hanging in there. We're now 2.5 months into this. I know it's been tough. We have more tough times ahead, but they'll be at least tough in a different way as we start to reopen and work through that. I'm confident that we can do it. I ask your help to continue to do the right things and encourage those around you to do them. Thanks for tuning in. Stay healthy, safe, resilient, and we will see you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. for our next briefing. And again, hopefully see you tonight and throughout the weekend virtually for Memorial Day. Thank you.